With a proud family lineage, businessman in London and Mogadishu, Abshir Aden Ferro, a 52-year-old Sunni Muslim, is part of this new generation of Africans who want to change the face of the continent. A mission that he set himself with his political party, Alliance for the Future, created in 2019. In a rather pro bono spirit, candidate Abshir Aden Ferro intends to give his life for Somalia. Let's meet him. Abshir Aden Ferro, good morning and welcome to the program. If the electoral calendar is maintained, your ambition is to become President of the Republic of Somalia in February 2021. You have co-written a book, My Life for Somalia, with Bruno Fanouki, a long-standing senior reporter for Le Parisien, an expert on political issues on Africa and Middle East. Your book, published last July by edition Africa Presse Paris, Leaders of Africa collection, and forward by the French senator and former minister Jean-Marie Bockel. In this book, My Life for Somalia, you said you are aware that you have been on a blacklist for several years. Abshir Aden Ferro, where does this reckless side come from?
Thank you very much, first of all, for having me. And yes, and as you say, that my ambition is to come and bring the voice of my people to the international intention on it. I have decided it and to come out and put my life on site and bring it, as I said, my life for Somalia, for my nation and my people.
But on a personal level, are you aware that by entering the political arena, you are risking your life?
Yes, I am. And my life is already, as it is right now, quite very challengeable. My mind and heart is elsewhere, and my soul is in with my people. So the risking of a life is, the way I say that, this is a decision that I made it, and to support, and time is clocking, and it is time to bring people who knows how to deal with internationally and protect the rights of my people, those people who hasn't got no voice. So I stand myself and my party, those of Somalians, of the 14 million and a half who hasn't got no voice. So I stand for the voiceless people. People that who's in refugee camps, people that who ADP in camps, people that basically, that beautiful people who only waiting for the last 30 years, hope to protect an evil from outside the country and within the country.
As a reminder, in Somalia there is a widespread insecurity and inter-community tensions. Society has become very violent. The Somalis who remained in their country in the years 90 to 2000 have lived through a civil war, humanitarian crisis and famine. Somalia is one of the 10 poorest countries in the world. With the political party that you preside over, Alliance for the Future, you mentioned 5 priority projects. Can you quickly develop them?
Well, to answer your first part of it, and Somalia, we had a challenge, like every country has a challenge on the planet. And Somalia, and what you referred, the incident that took place after the takeover from Siad Barre and the failure of the society, there was an error from there, and whether it was compatible Siad Barre or not compatible to us, whoever decided to overthrow him out did not have any clear strategy. You do not throw a government out without having a plan. And that plan has cost, and that naivety has costed millions of lives of our people. Question about the poverty. We're not poor. We are one of the most wealthiest countries in Africa. We are situated geographically, most sensitive place in the military on the planet today because of our location. We have the longest coast. We have the wealthiest sea in terms of our fishery. We have the second position in a maritime motorway on the planet. A lot of your Western energy comes through my doorstep in my country. So we got the second livestock on the planet after Australia. So the question is, the country has mismanaged it for over decades by individual people who has got personal interests of the nation. So the people are suffering because of the self-interest of individual people.
About Al-Shabaab, there is a very big risk.
Well, the risk of Al-Shabaab, as I say to you, and I'm keeping saying to the international community and the people from outside, Al-Shabaab is causing us more damage to inside the country than outside the country. Al-Shabaab today for us is external diseases that who has penetrated within my people. Is originated the Al-Shabaab, where they are opportunist people, the lack of insecurity and the lack of security within our nation and within my country. Osama bin Laden is not a Somalian child, is not basically a Somali individual. Is somebody who has come from Kukulan who penetrated us because he was fleeing from the international community, who is fleeing from outside world while he penetrated because he knew that we were the weakest, safest place that he could hide it. He has even left eggs of children into the country. And the thing is, that's why I always say that the extremist level, we Muslim Sunni, we married in Islam, we bury our people by the Islam, we married ourselves by the Islam, we have birthed ourselves by the Islam, we have the what you guys call catechism and we call the scholars. And in the Quranic is our faith of Islam. So Islam is a peaceful religion, but not a violent religion. So this individual, minority individual who has got a vision of another Islam is not compatible to us. We are 15 million population of the Somalia. So Al-Shabaab right now is causing more problem to us. So-called people
sorry
of Somalia.
to interrupt you, but security is your specialty, and for good reason. Is it your core business with Four Roche Group, the company you have been managing for 30 years and which employs 1,600 people in England? So if you are elected president in 2021, what will be your plan to eradicate that Al-Shabaab terrorist threat and as well to lift the UN arms embargo?
Any group of extremists, we do not resolve only with a gun the solution. We start dialogue.
Dialogue
Peace.
with Al-Shabaab?
Peace. Where is Al-Shabaab? Where is another foreign organization? It is like having two couples who lives in the same house, but who are disputing each other. You need a mediator. For me, I am for peace for my people. If I do not get the peace, then I'm afraid we're in a conflict. But first, what we believe in Islam, peace comes first.
But do you think a dialogue is possible with terrorist group?
It depends what we call by terrorism. There's a psychopath in the planet. But within the psychopath, we have to see that how much basically is a psychopath, that individual person. So Al-Shabaab, the Somalians one, Shabaab, who are non-Somalian, is not my problem. They're out my country. But through Al-Shabaab, there's a door to talk about it. But first, before talk, we drop the weapon. We come dialogue, united, and if there's no solution out of there, then we have to do what we have to do.
Are you in favor of strengthening or withdrawing the African Union missions in Somalia?
Of course, I am for it. I mean, as you know that I grew up in France and in the UK. 40 years ago, Europe was so weak, they united together with one single currency called Euro today. And it is basically the point of fighting against yen and dollars and to exist and coexist on the planet with a currency. Of course, Africa, we have the youngest youth and population. Within the next 30 to 40 years will be strength the economic on the planet. Yes, I mean, the dialogue for me is the same things, is to unite our leaders of Africa with a better future for our people, to all of us.
What is your vision about democracy?
I love democracy. Democracy is something who gives us to respect each other, to dialogue, to have a different vision, and to grow in a better future. This is what is the democratic form is all I mean. Giving the voice the mankind needs to have and to protect the rights of the people.
But at the beginning of the interview, you were talking about that, I heard about that is 1,460 days linked to democracy.
The 1,460 days, it is a solution that my party and myself, especially myself, who's put it on the table. It is the base of my people to have a voice and to freedom to elect whether they want an MP, a deputy, Senate, president, the local MPs, local mayor, is to give them that 1,000. My project is 1,460 days, is to give my people what international community and the other people they could not achieve for the last 20 years. So this is the solution of 1,460 days of Somalia back to the democracy.
And how would you like to improve the way the country is governed?
Well, this is the, I've just mentioned it, 1,460 days. What does that mean is what the president right now and the regionals has cooked it for us behind the doors is incompatible to us, the Somalis. Yeah. So the president and the 5 regional, for so-called presidents, united together, locked themselves because they have failed their mandate. The mandate was this February, we should have had it 1 man, 1 vote to protect all our interests. What they're proposing to us is a totally, utterly failure for the safety of security from inside the country and outside the country. I'll give you an example. We know that, and it is a very open information, that the MP go and get his vote from the tribal leaders. The tribal leaders is a people who does not have a pension, retirement, is a people that basically who's hanging the power to suck the blood of the country. So what does that mean is very simple. The chief of tribal buys his blessing to the MP. So the MP goes there and pay amount of sum to the chief of tribals.
And who will pay back the MP?
Let me finish it. That is what's about to come. So the MP then becomes a member of the parliament. The members of parliament, that is the systems that are in place. The member of the parliament then says to whoever is going to become the president, you have to pay me because I've just spent my money. I borrowed money to buy my vote and my voice from the chief of the tribal.
So they are paying for the seat?
Exactly.
This is very serious.
Yes, it is very serious. That's why I am upset about it. It is very seriously because the system is corrupted.
Yeah, so bribery, kickbacks and favors are the other evils of Somalia.
It is not what I'm saying on my mandate, fighting against the corruption and injustice of the country.
So what do you intend to do to combat these practices?
Well, simple, just what I've just proposed to you. 1,460 days time to have completely abolish this. How that means? Leave this parliament that is in place right now and give them extension for another 2 years. But in the same time, there's a condition behind that. The condition is leave them my parliament so they don't have to go back to the chief of tribals and pay briberies. So I kill that corruption completely and abolish that corruption. The second thing is that is going to take place, it is the parliament to elect in February, then for them to elect the president plus 6 people. The 6 people that we need to elect are the 2 speakers plus the 2 deputies. So that means 6 plus the president to be elected in February.
In your book, you talk about create a ministry to fight the corruption.
That's right. That's right. So this is what we started, the 1,460 days. So we give them back the 15 million people who are voiceless to the voice. So the mankind choose for the first time in the history of Somalia to vote who he wants to give it to his own vote.
This is democracy, it's very clear. On the debate almost 30 years old of Somaliland and a great united Somalia with its sky blue national flag and its 5-pointed star reminiscent of the 5 regions of Somalia, what is your opinion?
As I say to you, Somaliland is upset, which I understand. So the word of the Somaliland, let's go define it. Somalia land. You have the nation, the name of the nation. They are upset. Like, they are completely lost the trust of the people around them. My solution is I'm from Somaliland as well. Okay, my family is from the minority of the Somaliland. So they're not only victim, my people are victim in Somaliland. Peace, dialogue, united, not divided.
Reunification?
We will talk. Okay, the question is, we get our objective when we sit down together and have a common interest. Somaliland will not be cut geographically out of the region.
Very clear. I want to talk about the waste traffic. In Western countries, waste disposal costs $250 per ton. In Somalia, it costs only $2.5. It is not difficult to imagine the considerable profits generated by this traffic. We know that ships sail off the extremely fishy coasts of Africa and unload anything and everything. Any comment?
Well, we've been a victim, as I say to you. People who's been abusing the kindness of my people. Once we look at the root cause of the piracy was external fishermen penetrating to my water and helping themselves destroying because we do not have a security and maritime people to protect our water. So this fishery has took too much liberty, and it was the beginning of the piracy. And trust me, and I worked in that field for numbers of years, which was part of the working group 1, fight against the piracy. The true victim are the Somalian fishermen, because they're the one who start the original to defend it and to gather themselves what they use to protect their waters, because they've been completely uprun by a country who's wide open, fishing that, for example, the tuna fish of Spain, 60% is from my Somalian water.
And 40% from France.
And 40% from France. They took it, they go to Seychelles with it, repack with it, and send it back. Now the toxic waste was we talked about it. The toxic waste, all my coastal villages, we're picking up diseases that is unknown to us. And we know that it did happen.
But it's a benefit profit.
Well, benefit profit to who? Criminals.
Yeah, criminals.
Okay, so this is where I'm talking about my security. Give them the force and the energy of the local community, reinforce them to protect their waters. And now what the threat is the health threat. I'm worried about it. We dumped toxic waste into our water. We picked up those fish.
So people became sick?
Everywhere.
And finally, a question on women's rights. Prescribed by international law, excision remains legal in Somalia. The United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, estimate that 2,090 girls will have undergone some form of sexual mutilation by 2020. While the trend is declining in Africa, where many countries have banned the practice, such as Sudan, the COVID-19 crisis is undermining efforts to end female genital mutilation in Somalia. The NGO Plan International alerts women are going door to door to propose female genital mutilation during lockdown. You, President, how will you put an end to this barbaric practice?
As I said, and clearly, and in the past as well, I've got 2 daughters. I did not choose that path. This is a practice in the past, in the ancient history. We have moved it away. A lot of our diaspora and the Somalian young generation of the 21st century, we are against that. But simply, it's very clear. Democratic country, as we say that, my first is to reinforce the justice. There's one thing that also does not exist in Somalia is the High Court. Bring them those people and let them face the law of the nation. As far as I'm concerned, I have a mother who's gone through, I have a cousin who's gone through, I have a niece who's gone through, I have aunties who's gone through. I know that today the consequence in terms of the health issues, in terms of a long-term damage, is things that I am against. But it's going to be a specific ministry who's involved who's going to deal with it.
Abshir, your first name means in Arabic world and Islam, good news. So I hope your name will bring you luck to reach the Supreme Magistracy. Abshir Aden Ferro 54 States thanks you, and you, dear followers, who are watching us, we meet on the online media 54eta.com.